Peck's Towers, 3:47 p.m. The explosion tears through floors 12 to 15 with a deafening roar. Glass shatters outward like deadly rain. Screams echo from 100 throats. In the emergency command center, Tom Alvarez stands frozen, staring at monitors showing flames and panic. His hand hovers over the radio. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to do. In the lobby, Ruth Gallagher, 57 years old, wearing a security guard uniform, feels the building shake. Her trained instincts activate instantly. She counts. For floors compromised, gas explosion pattern, 193 people in the building per today's occupancy log. She looks at the command center through the glass, sees Alvarez paralyzed. She remembers his voice 6 months ago. We need someone with fresh energy. You understand. Welcome to Mr. Bryan's Tale, where every story takes you on an unforgettable journey. Whether it's thrilling adventures, heartwarming moments, or tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, this is your destination for captivating storytelling. If you love getting lost in exciting narratives and discovering new worlds with every video, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on the next amazing tale. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. She remembers Vaughn's dismissive smile. Frankly, Ms. Gallagher, you're too old for this position. Ruth Gallagher keys her radio. Her voice is steady, commanding, decades of authority in every word. This is Chief Gallagher. I'm taking command of this emergency. All units, stand by for orders. Ruth Gallagher sat in the sterile corporate interview room. Her resume spread before 3 executives who looked young enough to be her children. 32 years of fire service. 3 decades of saved lives. 0 fatalities under her command in 78 major high-rise incidents. Richard Vaughn barely glanced at it. Ms. Gallagher, your experience is impressive. He said experience, the way one might say expired. But we're looking for someone who can bring fresh perspective to emergency coordination. Someone dynamic. Ruth kept her voice steady. With respect, Mr. Vaughn, emergency management isn't about fresh perspectives. It's about proven expertise. I've managed responses in, we've made our decision. Vaughn's smile was corporate plastic. We're going with Tom Alvarez. He brings innovative event management experience and a strong network. Event management. Ruth had pulled people from buildings that were actively collapsing. Alvarez had organized corporate retreats. I see. Ruth stood, maintaining her dignity. May I ask, was there anything specific about my qualifications that concerned you? Vaughn exchanged glances with his colleagues. Frankly, Ms. Gallagher, we need someone who can grow with the company. Someone with longevity ahead of them. His eyes flicked to her silver hair. You understand. She understood perfectly. 2 weeks later, Ruth's fire department position was restructured in budget cuts targeting senior salary personnel. At 57, with bills to pay and retirement savings insufficient, she took the only job available, security guard, at Apex Towers, working for the man who'd called her too old. Ruth hated the security uniform, hated the way people looked through her, as if she were furniture, hated watching Tom Alvarez fumble through emergency drills with a checklist he clearly didn't understand. But mostly, she hated the violations. 3 months into her security job, Ruth noticed the gas line maintenance logs were falsified, required quarterly inspections, overdue by 7 months. She reported it to building management. Budget constraints. The facilities manager said dismissively, it's on the schedule. It wasn't. She noticed the sprinkler coverage on floors 12 to 15 had been reduced. Fire suppression systems disabled in low-traffic areas to save on water costs. Emergency stairwell doors that didn't seal properly. Evacuation route signage removed during renovations and never replaced. Ruth compiled a detailed report. 12 safety violations, each one a potential catastrophe. She submitted it to Tom Alvarez. He called her into his office, the office that should have been hers. Ruth. He leaned back in his executive chair, trying for authority he didn't possess. I appreciate your vigilance, but these decisions come from corporate risk assessment, people with actuarial training, financial expertise. Not. He gestured vaguely at her. Field experience. Field experience is what keeps people alive when the actuarial models fail. I think you're having trouble adjusting to your new role. His smile was condescending. You're security now, not management. Just watch the cameras, okay? That night, Ruth updated her incident prediction log. Catastrophic failure imminent. Gas explosion risk. Critical. Estimated casualties if incident occurs. 150 to 200. She was off by 7 people. It started with a smell. Ruth was doing her 3 p.m. lobby rounds when a faint odor of natural gas reached her trained senses. She keyed her radio immediately. Facilities, this is security. I'm detecting gas odor, main lobby level. Recommend immediate building evacuation, and the world turned to fire and thunder. The explosion originated on floor 13, exactly where the uninspected gas line ran to the server room. The blast ripped upward and outward, consuming floors 12 through 15 in a cascading inferno. The building shuddered like a living thing in pain. Ruth's training took over. She was on her feet before the debris stopped falling, mentally cataloging. For floors compromised, primary stairwells likely blocked, 193 people in building per morning occupancy count. Daycare center on 18 with 47 children. She ran toward the emergency command center. Through the reinforced glass, she saw Tom Alvarez standing motionless, face pale, staring at monitors showing chaos and flames. His hand trembled over the radio receiver. He wasn't giving orders. He wasn't coordinating response. He was frozen. Ruth didn't hesitate. She burst through the door. Alvarez, what's your status? He looked at her with hollow eyes. I don't. There are so many people. Screams echoed from the upper floors. Smoke billowed through ventilation shafts. Somewhere above them, a child was crying. Ruth Gallagher made a decision. She grabbed the radio. All emergency personnel. This is Chief Ruth Gallagher, Fire Service ID 2847. I am assuming incident command. Repeat. Chief Gallagher has command. The response was immediate. Chief Gallagher? We copy. Standing by for orders. Tom Alvarez found his voice. You're not authorized. I'm the emergency coordinator. Ruth ignored him, her focus entirely on the tactical display. All units, situation report. Gas explosion. Floors 12 to 15. Full structural compromise likely. I need fire suppression crews on stairwells A and C. Stairwell B is blocked per cameras. Medical triage staging in lobby. Evacuation priority. Floor 18 daycare. Then descending order from top floors. The radio crackled. Chief, this is Engine 7. We're 2 minutes out. Requesting building schematic and entry points. Ruth's mind was a tactical computer. Decades of experience processing instantly. Engine 7. Primary entry via south loading dock. Floors 1 to 11 evacuate via stairwell A. Floors 16 to 20. I need aerial ladder access on west face for daycare extraction. Be advised. Floors 12 to 15 are fully involved. Do not attempt entry. Copy, Chief. We're Oscar Mike. Behind her, Alvarez sputtered. I'm calling Mr. Vaughn. You're fired. Ruth didn't turn around. Then fire me. After we get 193 people out alive. She keyed the building PA system, her voice carrying to every floor with calm authority. Attention, all Apex Tower occupants. This is Chief Gallagher. There has been an explosion on floors 12 to 15. Remain calm. Move to your nearest stairwell and proceed down. Do not use elevators. If you encounter smoke, stay low. Help others if able. We are coming for you. Her hands were steady. Her voice was steel. The ghost of Fire Chief Gallagher had returned, and she was bringing everyone home. The first fire crews arrived. Ruth was already coordinating a floor-by-floor systematic evacuation when a young firefighter approached her. Couldn't be older than 24, gear still factory fresh, eyes wide with adrenaline and fear. Ma'am, I'm Kayla Owens, probationary firefighter. My captain sent me to wait. Kayla's eyes widened. Chief Gallagher? The Ruth Gallagher? From Station 19? Ruth was surprised. You know that name? Know it? You're a legend at the academy. The Meridian Hotel rescue, the hospital fire evac, the... Kayla, stop herself. Sorry. Captain needs entry point assessment. For the first time in 6 months, Ruth felt seen, not as too old, as Chief Gallagher. Tell your captain west stairwells are clear up to floor 11. Floors 16 to 20 need aerial extraction. Priority 1 is the daycare on 18, 47 children, 2 adults. Ruth pulled up the building schematic on her tablet. But there's a problem. Fire's spreading faster than model predicts. The cost-cutting measures. She explained Vaughn's violations. Missing sprinklers. Substandard fire doors. Kayla's young face hardened with understanding. So we're fighting a fire in a building designed to burn. Exactly. Ruth looked at the monitors. People trapped. Children crying. And somewhere in her memory, Danny Chen's voice calling for help 15 years ago. Her hand started to shake. Kayla noticed, gently touched Ruth's arm. Chief, I need you here. We all do. You're the only one who knows this building, knows fire behavior in high-rises. I could be your hands in there, but I need your mind guiding me. Ruth took a breath, steadied herself. Okay, let's save some lives. Richard Vaughn arrived in a town car, fury radiating from every pore. He stormed into the command center, seeing Ruth coordinating rescue operations with 6 fire companies. What the hell is going on here? Vaughn's voice cut to the organized chaos. Gallagher, your security, who authorized you to. 193 people are trapped in your burning building, Vaughn. Ruth didn't look away from the monitors. Authorization is irrelevant. Like hell it is. Tom, why aren't you managing this? Alvarez stood in the corner, pale and useless. She just took over. I didn't. Engine 12. You have civilians on floor 17, northwest corner. Ruth spoke into the radio, then turned to Vaughn. Your cost-cutting caused this. Uninspected gas lines. Disabled sprinklers. Substandard. You don't know what you're talking about. Vaughn's face was red. Those were approved efficiency measures. Recommended by consultants. Consultants who've never seen a person burned to death. Ruth's voice was ice. Get out of my command center. Your command center? Vaughn grabbed his phone. I'm calling the fire marshal. You're impersonating an official. That's a crime. Security, escort this woman. The building shuddered. A secondary explosion rocked floor 14. Screams echoed through the radio. Kayla's voice strained. Chief, floor 16 is going. I have 12 people cut off in the conference room. I need alternative extraction now. Ruth was already analyzing. Kayla, northwest window. Rappel descent to floor 15 exterior. I'll coordinate ground team with nets. Vaughn stared in horror at the monitors. Lives genuinely at risk. Ruth met his eyes. Stay or go, but don't get in my way. 32 minutes into the rescue. Floors 1 to 11. Evacuated. Floor 16 to 17. Aerial rescue in progress. Floors 12 to 15. Total loss. Confirmed empty via thermal imaging. Floor 18. 47 children trapped in the Bright Futures Daycare Center. The structural engineer's voice crackled through the radio. Chief, I'm showing critical failure indicators on floors 14 to 16. You have maybe 20 minutes before cascading collapse. Get your people out. 20 minutes. 47 children. 2 teachers. The only access route, through fire-filled corridors or rooftop helicopter extraction. Ruth made the call. All units, evacuate floors 14 to 16 immediately. We're pulling back to defensive operations. Aerial units, I need rooftop access or rescue access helicopter. Chief, what about the daycare? It was Kayla's voice, already knowing the answer. Ruth closed her eyes. Saw Danny Chen's face. 15 years ago. The warehouse. One more sweep? Chief. Just one more. And then the roof fell. Chief. Kayla's voice pulled her back. What about the daycare? Ruth looked at the monitors. 47 small faces pressed against windows. She looked at Kayla, 24 years old, barely out of the academy, brave and capable and so terribly young. Someone has to go in, through the interior corridor, guide them to the roof access. Ruth started putting on gear. No. Kayla's hand stopped her. You coordinate. I go. Kayla, you don't understand. I've sent people in before. I've lost. I know about Danny Chun. I know you blame yourself. Kayla's eyes were clear, certain. But I'm not Danny. I'm trained. I'm ready. And those kids need someone now. Ruth's worst nightmare, sending another young firefighter into hell. Go. Kayla disappeared into the smoke with 18 minutes on the clock. Ruth watched her thermal signature move through the corridor, each second an eternity. I'm at the daycare. I have visual on all 47 kids. They're terrified but mobile. Kayla's voice was steady despite the roaring flames audible in the background. Beginning evacuation to roof access. Teachers have them in line. Chief, I need you to walk me through the roof door mechanism. It's jammed. Ruth pulled up the building schematic, her hands shaking. Not again. Not another one. Kayla, there's an emergency release. Red panel, left side. You'll need to manually crank the door open. 14 minutes. Got it. Door's opening. Kids are moving. Chief, smoke's getting thicker. I'm going to lose comm soon. The helicopter pilot's voice. I have visual on roof access. Preparing for extraction. But Chief, that building is about to go. I can give you maybe 6 trips. 30 seconds each. I can't take all of them. The math was brutal. Helicopter capacity, 8 people per trip. 47 kids plus 2 teachers plus Kayla. 50 people. 6 trips at 8 people. 48 capacity. 2 people wouldn't make it on the last trip. Ruth made the hardest call of her life. Kayla, you get those kids on that helicopter. Teachers first, then kids smallest to largest. You come out on the last trip. That's an order. Chief, if there's not room. That's an order, Owens. 12 minutes. The first helicopter lifted off with 8 children. 10 minutes. Second trip. 8 more. 8 minutes. The building groaned. Structural supports failing. Third trip. Fourth trip. Fifth trip. 3 minutes. 6 children left. Killa. 1 teacher. The helicopter descended for the final time. 8 capacity. 8 people remaining. Perfect math. Impossible luck. Everyone loaded. The helicopter lifted off. And then floor 15 collapsed. The helicopter cleared the building with 11 seconds to spare. Floors 12 through 16 collapsed in a cascade of steel and fire. But the roof held. And Kayla held those last 6 children. All 47 kids. Safe. 193 people total. Extracted from a burning building. 0 fatalities. Ruth Gallagher stood in the command center and allowed herself, for the first time in 15 years, to believe she was enough. The media descended like locusts. Cameras, reporters, microphones. Vaughn tried to step forward, ready to spin the narrative, but the survivor spoke first. Noah Bennett, the 11-year-old boy from floor 17, stood in front of the cameras with his mother. The security lady saved us. She knew exactly what to do. She told us we'd be okay, and we were. Kayla Owens, soot-covered and exhausted, gave an interview that went viral. Chief Ruth Gallagher is the greatest firefighter I've ever seen. They call her too old for the job. She just saved 193 lives. Age isn't a limitation. It's proof of mastery. The building inspector held a press conference. Preliminary investigation shows multiple safety violations. Deferred maintenance on gas lines. Disabled fire suppression systems. Every single violation was reported by former Fire Chief Gallagher. Every report was ignored by corporate management. The fire marshal stood beside the inspector. Richard Vaughn and Apex Corporate Holdings will face criminal charges for negligent endangerment, reckless conduct, and fraud. If not for Chief Gallagher's intervention, we'd be recovering bodies instead of celebrating survivors. Vaughn was arrested on camera. Tom Alvarez resigned. Corporate headquarters locked. And Ruth Gallagher, 57 years old, silver hair shining under the lights, stood tall. 6 weeks later, Ruth stood in the Fire Academy training facility, wearing a uniform she thought she'd never wear again. Not the midnight blue of a security guard, the proud dress uniform of Fire Chief, with an additional designation: Chief of Emergency Preparedness, Citywide Operations. Continue. 7:54 a.m. The mayor had created the position specifically for her. Oversight of all emergency protocols, training standards, safety enforcement with teeth, and mentorship requirements. Ruth looked out at the academy class. 30 young firefighter candidates, eyes bright with determination. Kayla Owen stood beside her as assistant chief, the youngest person ever promoted to command staff. Welcome to Advanced High-Rise Rescue Operations. Ruth began. I'm Chief Gallagher. I'm 57 years old. I was recently told I was too old for emergency management work. She paused, let that sink in. Then a building exploded. An unqualified coordinator froze. And I, along with brave firefighters like Assistant Chief Owens, extracted 193 people from a burning tower. She walked among the students. Age didn't save those people. Neither did youth. Experience saved them. Training saved them. Courage saved them. And the wisdom to know when to lead and when to trust your team. She stopped in front of a young woman, maybe 22. What's your name? Firefighter Candidate Morrison, ma'am. Do you think I'm too old to teach you, Morrison? No, ma'am. Good, because I'm going to teach you how to save lives. And when you're my age, you're going to teach the next generation. That's the legacy. That's how we honor the profession. Ruth looked at Kayla, who smiled with pride and gratitude. Now let's get to work. Ruth didn't just save 193 people that day. She saved the idea that experience matters. That age isn't decline, it's mastery. That the most dangerous person in a crisis isn't the oldest one in the room. It's the unqualified one given power through privilege. Richard Vaughn thought cutting costs was smart business. Tom Alvarez thought connections were enough. They both learned that when lives are on the line, there's no substitute for the real thing. Decades of training, experience, and the courage to act when others freeze. Here's what Ruth's story teaches us. Don't let anyone tell you you're too old, too experienced, or too expensive. Your value isn't your age, it's your capability. The world needs people who've seen crises before, who know what to do when a plan fails, who can lead with steady hands because they've earned every callus. So I have a question for you. Have you ever been dismissed because of your age, your appearance, or something that had nothing to do with your actual skills? Have you seen someone who deserved a position lose out to someone less qualified but more connected? Drop your story in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if Ruth's story resonated with you, if it made you think about the people we discard, the expertise we ignore, the heroes we overlook, thumbs up, smash that like button to tell YouTube this story matters and deserves to be shared. Bell subscribe to Mr. Brian's Tale and hit that notification bell. Every story on this channel celebrates people who prove the doubters wrong, who stand up when it matters, who save the day because they refuse to accept society's limitations. Speech balloon comment below. Who's someone older than you who's taught you something invaluable? A mentor, a teacher, a grandparent? Let's celebrate wisdom in the comments. Mobile phones, share this video with someone who's ever been told they're too old, past their prime, or not fresh enough. Remind them that Ruth Gallagher saved 193 lives at 57, and her career was just beginning. Every story I bring you on Mr. Brian's Tale is about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Not because they're young or old, rich or poor, but because they have courage, skill, and a refusal to quit when others need them.